Hello everybody and welcome back to Cat's Monthly Movies with me, Cat. I'm with QJ. We're going to talk about some movies that I've watched this month. You are QJ though.
I am the QJ. I am the monthly movie friend.
You are the friend.
Here we are.
This is a show where I talk about every movie I've watched in a month. I've been quite disappointing this month. I've only watched 6 films.
You went to the zoo.
I didn't. That was like ages ago.
Yeah,
we just put the photos up on Facebook.
Well, you haven't spoken to me since last
You are delayed.
movie day, so
It's not my fault.
Yes, it is.
It's not my fault. I call you at the end of each month. You call me in the middle of the month. It's not my fault if you forget.
Yeah, we didn't have a QJ's adventure this month.
Yeah, I was sitting here like, when are we going to do that QJ adventure? But we didn't.
Been working so hard
to
try to pay the bills. Now I deliver packages for Santa Claus.
That's a bit early, isn't it?
Yeah, well, people just bought a ton of crap from Black Friday, so.
Oh yeah, true. I mean, I also did that, so I can't really complain. It's all good. Anyway, so movies that I watched. The first film that I watched this month was a film that I thought I'd seen before, but I don't think I have. I think I've seen a sequel to it, but not the first one. And that film is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Really?
Yeah, well,
cool.
Because I've seen all the iconic shots. Because how can you not have, right? And I'm pretty sure I've seen one of the other ones. Because I remember him being on a boat, on a motorboat, going through a dock, and then there's a room with a puzzle on the floor, it's a library. But I watched it when I was really young, so I was sitting there I've probably seen Indiana Jones. I don't know. I don't think I'd seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Wow. What an experience.
It's good. It's pretty good. There's some really good uses of silhouette in there. A lot of shots of Indiana Jones are taken as his shadow, which does a really good job of making the shape of his hat and the shape of his... Because the design of Indiana Jones is just, generic.
Yeah.
He's just generic action hero man. But because they use that kind of silhouette and they make such a deal of the hat and the whip and everything, he becomes iconic even though he's quite generic, which I think that's impressive. That's good uses of cinematography in order to push...
Do you think he's generic?
Yeah, he's just
I never thought of him that way.
I wear all khaki and have a fedora. That's about it.
I guess he's a generic, jungle exploration man.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing generic specific about what he. He's an archaeologist and everything, but they've never had an archaeologist who had a whip and swung from things and chased boulders and.
Yeah, but from a visual design standpoint, there's not much that stands out about him.
Sure.
Except for the whip. If you look at that character, you're like, oh, it's the jungle explorer guy.
Yeah, it's what he does that makes him stand out as Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but they shoot him in a way that makes that design, even though it's quite generic, it makes it look far more... Because you see the silhouette and you see the shape and it simplifies it. And you're
I never thought about
that
it
shape of the hat.
Now that design isn't, oh, that's a jungle explorer man. It's, oh, that's how Indiana Jones looks.
Yeah, because they show him... It's the way they shoot him that makes him look so iconic, not the way he looks, if you know what I mean. And I think that's really clever. I think it's genius. Also, the music is obviously on point. I feel like I don't need to big up a John Wick. It's a good movie. It's fun. It is a bit racially insensitive and misogynistic, but what was it, 1970s? So it's you can't really complain.
Oh, don't even watch the second one then.
Is it worse?
Oh yeah, pretty bad.
I don't remember because I think I've seen the second one, but I don't remember it because I was probably 7 or something. So.
I don't remember the racial insensitivities in Raiders of the Lost Ark, but yeah, in what was the name of the second one? But they go to India and there's all those jokes about how they eat monkey brains.
Oh
and, and voodoo and all this, and it's
yeah. Well, the stuff I found was the fact that the one French character is just this slimy, disgusting creep of a man. But, Indiana Jones is equally creepy and slimy, but for some reason he's the hero and this French guy is the worst guy just because he's French. And it's sorry, Indiana, because it's implied that Indiana Jones slept with that, like, had an affair with that girl when she was in her teens, so it's like, potentially a paedophile, which is, you know,
he was probably a teenager man. Too.
He's like 40.
No, they're like the same age.
They are not the same. Look at Harrison Ford's wrinkled face. He's not the same age as that woman. There's no way. I do not believe that.
He's not wrinkled in that movie.
He's pretty wrinkled.
No, he's not.
He is not like the paragon of youth. Like, he's pretty like droopy already. Like, Harrison Ford has a droopy face.
Weird thing to say about the most handsome man in the world.
I think I said Harrison Ford, not Chris Pratt, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I joke, Chris Hemsworth is the most handsome man in the world, but, you know, we can...
Everyone wishes that they were Harrison Ford.
Oh, what? That they were bitter and old and hateful now? Well, Harrison Ford he's the most hateful man in Hollywood at the moment. He, what? Like... Oh my god, have you not seen the, like... If he's... Anytime anyone in an interview asks him about Star Wars, he just gets so mad. He just sits there like...
Well, yeah, I'd probably be a little irritated about it at this point.
No, not... He's not irritated. He's like... mad. He is grumpy, and he's just a grumpy old man, and it's beautiful.
You get to be grumpy at that age. Once your hair starts getting 90% white, you can be whatever you want.
Be what you want to be. Live your dreams. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Shia LaBeouf, what a legend. Can't wait for the new Indiana Jones where Shia LaBeouf takes over. Oh, that's not going to happen, is it?
You made the connection.
Actually, before I go on to my next film, since I've only got 6, can we just go back to last month where I couldn't talk about Thor Ragnarok because you hadn't seen it?
Oh, yeah.
And can we talk about Thor Ragnarok real quick? Because you've seen it now. We can talk about
Thor Ragnarok.
My god, Thor Ragnarok is so good, am I right?
It was so fun.
It's just like the most fun thing. It's like fun, non-stop fun.
Okay, it was the first time I watched an action superhero movie where I wasn't confused about anything. Which,
I mean, that's on you.
Which may mean that the writing was incredibly simple. Like, I mean, that is how I felt about the movie. I felt like it was maybe a little too simple and predictable. Yeah. It felt a little Disney-ish, which maybe is fine at this point. But I finished that movie thinking I felt like I just watched a comic book volume.
Yep.
Because it was so cute, fun, lots of jokes. Characters bouncing around, having a good time, and there weren't too many like deep moments, but there were just enough. And it was just so silly, and it ended, and I didn't feel like I don't know. I felt happy. And
it's beautiful. It's like. It's because they went for pure comedy. They just went,
they really
you know
did.
What? Comedy. Pure comedy. That's what it's going to be. And as a result, the plot's a little bit thin, but it's not like so thin that it's weak. It's just like, this is fine. It's like a fun ride. You're just like having fun the whole time. Like, don't get me wrong, if every Marvel movie did the same thing and did that, then it would
feel
stale
a little
over
bit
time.
Empty.
But because every Marvel movie is a different genre. Every Marvel movie... Like, people are always like, oh, the Marvel formula, all Marvel movies are the same. But I'm like,
this one did not have,
sure,
like, the formula.
Are they? Like, because they're not. They're like, if you take Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Thor Ragnarok, and you put them next to each other, they're nowhere near the same thing at all. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, you got different writers doing different things. It's great. Yeah. But, and it felt very, like kids would really understand this movie.
Yeah.
Because you had the guy in the beginning that, like, popped up at the end. And I was like, oh, connections! And all the lines were so funny. Like, for once in your life, don't smash!
No, I think Korg's the best part of that whole movie. Like, Korg, the rock dude.
Oh. Just so stupid.
Because he's just such a silly, dumb character. And you're just sitting there the whole time like, I love this character. Like, I love him. He's just beautiful. I want him in everything. He makes me really happy. Because, it's great. And it does have a decent amount of, like, heartfelt little character moments between, like, Thor and Loki. And, like, the Valkyrie stuff's pretty good.
The Valkyrie stuff
the
was
Hulk
cool.
stuff. Like
obviously the mythology geek in me, I was like, woohoo!
Like, I genuinely teared up a little bit when they get to the Quinjet and the video of Black Widow being like, the sun's getting real low, and Hulk starts like freaking out and like turning back to Banner. I was like, this is sad. Like, I genuinely like had little bits of tears forming in the corners of my eyes, because it was powerful. Because it's contrast, right? If your film is mostly comedy and then you throw in a moment of like heartfelt, meaningful stuff, then it means more. You know, you can't just permanently be sad, and you can't just permanently be happy.
Very much like a good Disney film.
Yeah.
Which I guess if Marvel's owned by Disney now, maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, Thor is a Disney princess. Do you remember that whole joke that went around the internet for like months and you couldn't get rid of it?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, so I feel like there's not too much to say about the movie. No,
it's just a great movie.
Because it was like, there it is, and it was great. And it fits in with the rest of the series. I am a little bit surprised, though, that I'm not hearing too many complaints from people saying, like, oh, it's too simple. They're making Marvel movies dumbed down and not actiony and, like, gritty enough anymore. Like, everyone seems to adore it.
The thing with that argument is, you can't make that argument. Because if someone said, oh, they're making Marvel movies too dumb and simple, I just go, hey, watch the Black Panther trailer. There you go, kiddo. That's what you wanted, isn't it?
I haven't seen the Black Panther trailer.
Oh, Black Panther looks like exactly what you just said. It's like a serious, like, down-to-earth... I mean, it's also quite, like, high science fiction, like, ridiculous technology, but it looks like the kind of serious Marvel movie. Like, you can't be like, oh, why aren't Marvel movies serious anymore? Because there's that, and then there's Infinity War coming soon. Like... Which
I just watched the trailer for Infinity War.
And Infinity War is, like, the most hype thing ever.
It moved me in so many ways.
Oh... Like, my favorite thing about that trailer is I say people, I mean DC fans, have had this whole point for ages of Marvel don't have any good musical themes. The worst part of Marvel movies is they don't have good music. And it's like... It's because
Did they not watch the first Thor film?
It's because Marvel have been, I don't know, earning their themes. So, like, you could maybe make that argument back in Phase 1, but... They've spent time building up. You can't just have a good theme. You have to use it correctly. Marvel have made that, you know, the Avengers theme, the one that plays at the end of the Infinity War trailer? They have built that through, like, several movies. That theme plays so that when you hear it in the Infinity War trailer, you're like, oh my god, hype, because that is they've made their own theme. Whereas DC movies seem to just... I'm going to go off on a rant about Justice League soon. Don't worry about it. But DC have this thing where... This isn't even it. Like, structurally, I'm jumping ahead. Like, I'm going to get back to this in a minute. But DC have this attitude of, like, they don't earn anything. They just think that they can put something on the film and be like, you guys know this, right? It's good. They don't develop things. Marvel spent, like, 3 movies developing that Avengers theme to the point where you're like, oh my god, that's the Avengers theme. Whereas DC think that they can just shove the Wonder Woman theme that exists before the Wonder Woman movie from other people's work in the past. They can just shove that in and be like, yeah, this is the theme. And I'm like, no, you can't force that. And they did it with Justice League. They forced in the Superman theme, which was actually subtly done and kind of good. But it's still like, you didn't earn that theme. That wasn't the theme of Man of Steel. That was the theme of, like, the old Superman. You can't just force that.
Wait, they took John Williams' Superman theme and put it in Justice League?
Yeah, but it's actually well done, but it's also really entitled. It's like...
Heck, they're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, it's like...
Excuse them.
DC have this thing where they're just like, we can just put Superman in a film and everyone will watch it. But it's like, no, you have to make a good film. And it comes back to this...
I can't even think of a proper analogy for, like, that kind of thievery.
I know.
Like,
There's this... It's the attitude that is perfectly summed up in recent events, where there's a quote from Zack Snyder in 2011, I think it was, while he was making Man of Steel, where he said something like, Marvel, like, he said something along the lines of, I find it ridiculous that Marvel are making films about all of these, like, no-name heroes, and there isn't a Superman movie. I mean, why isn't there a Superman movie? But Thor gets his own movie. And he's basically sassing, like, no one knows any of these Marvel characters. Everyone knows Superman, so a Superman film would be really good. But the hilarious thing is, his third Superman film is doing worse at the box office than Thor's third film, because Marvel did a whole thing of developing their characters and earning the success that they have by making good films and gradually building it, instead of just going, we'll just put Superman in a film, everyone knows Superman, right? Like, it's dumb.
Yeah.
DC is so entitled, they think that they can just go, you guys know Superman, you guys know Batman, we'll put them in a movie together. It doesn't matter if it's a good movie, but you'll go and see it. It doesn't work anymore. It failed, like, it worked. They got people to see Batman vs Superman just based on that. It's not working. No one is seeing Justice League. It's hilarious.
I mean, sadly enough, they even did that with Wonder Woman, which was the only good DC film, as far as I know. And yet it was still mostly based around, hey, everyone loves and knows Wonder Woman, so they're going to come see this.
Yeah, the marketing
like, that
and the
attitude
hype
was still there, even if it was a well-made film.
And the thing with Wonder Woman is that the marketing and hype also had you all know Wonder Woman, and also, you're women, so you should go and see this film, you know? It wasn't, we're making a good... Like, when they market Black Panther, Marvel aren't saying, hey, black people, there's a film about a black guy, go and see it. Whereas with Wonder Woman, they were like, hey, you're a woman, go and see a woman movie. But it's like, no, just sell it to me because it's a good movie. Don't sell it to me because I can relate to the character. Because I think that's stupid. Marvel are just going, hey, Black Panther's going to be a good film. You should go and see it because look at it. Look at this movie. It looks great. Whereas DC, like, the whole... No one's going... Like, society isn't collectively going, oh my god, there's a movie about a black guy, whereas when Wonder Woman came out, everyone was collectively going, oh my god, there's a movie about a woman, but it's like, no, I mean, Wonder Woman was a great movie, I'm not saying anything, I'm not saying it wasn't.
And there were a lot of people who were saying that, but like,
I'm just saying that.
It was a case that turned out well, and to be one of the sexist people, I'll say, I think part of that was because it was made by a woman, and she knew how to make a smart one. She just knew how to make a really good movie.
I'm gonna say that Patty Jenkins is a good director and knows how to make a good movie, correct. I don't think that's because she's a woman. I think that's because she's a good director. You know, I don't...
Well, that's why I added she's a smart one.
Yeah, because I personally resent the argument. Can do that. Yeah, I resent the argument of people can only make a film about a minority if they are that minority. I think that's really stupid. Because I mean, the biggest case in point is the comic book Giant Days, which is written by a man but has 3 of the greatest female characters of all time. Love that comic, great comic. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, there are probably a lot of men that do struggle to write women, but same on the flip side, probably. Like, Steve Trevor was a trash character.
Like, stupid people. I mean, you have to understand who and what you're writing about. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a man and I know lots of girls, so I'm just gonna write from my point of view and not even try and understand what a woman would do or say. Like, I don't know.
There's an episode of Seinfeld where I was watching recently where they're trying to write the show, but they don't know how to write Elaine's character in because they don't understand women. But no, exactly. I don't think it's an inherently men can't write women because they're men. I think it's men can't write women because they're bad writers. If there were better,
you're absolutely
if male
right.
writers were better, they'd be able to write women. Like George R.R. Martin. Yeah, he sexualizes them over the top a lot of the time in Game of Thrones, but most of his female characters are powerful, good female characters. You know? It's just because of the setting they get sexualized, because of the setting. And it's justified, but they're also still strong characters.
I mean, like, yeah, some of the best parts in the second Game of Thrones book that I've loved are Sansa worrying about having to marry Joffrey and, like, what's going to happen when she has to go to bed with him, and when she, like, gets her first period and starts freaking out about it, and what's going on inside her painfully. And I'm like, oh, a man wrote this. Dang. Like,
yeah. Oh, Georgie boy, he's a good lad. Also, going back to Seinfeld, Elaine is actually quite well written, so...
Elaine is one of the best female characters in TV.
True.
Or at least in comedy. Like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is an amazing actress, amazing comedian. She
100%.
And a lot of it comes from she has no fear with her like her physical comedy. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of the episodes yet where she dances, and she's like,
I haven't,
she's, like,
but I think
her body
I've
around and all these jerky movements, and like when she's laughing or making faces, like she's not afraid to not be ladylike. And I think that's the theme with Lucille Ball and with Caitlin Olsen, who's in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They're just not afraid to be people instead of like, oh, I have to be a girl.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think that's cool.
There's good female comedians out there. They're just very underutilized.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? Were we still on Thor,
okay.
or had we moved on?
We did Raiders of the Lost Ark, then we did Thor, and then we kind of touched on Justice League, but I'm gonna get back to that. Don't worry about it. I watched an adaptation of a Shakespeare play this month.
Ooh.
Does that get you very excited?
Wait, I want to guess.
Guess which one it is.
Wait, what? No, you have to start talking about it, and then I'll have to try and guess.
Okay, so it's the tale of star-crossed lovers.
Oh.
Who, across two gardens, their families are at war.
Is it Merchant of Venice?
And I feel like it's pretty obvious which play this is.
Is it?
I'm not sure you'll get which adaptation it is, though.
Wait. Is it Much Ado About Nothing?
You're an idiot. What are you? I can't tell if you're like.
Oh no,
actually...
it's the first Thor movie. You got Jane and Thor. They're on different planets.
You think you're so funny, don't you? Okay,
was it the Leo DiCaprio version or the really cheesy old one?
Neither.
Okay, that should be more fun.
You're on the right track with the play, though.
Saga Volume 7. That's kind of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, that's a movie that I watched. I'll give you a hint. The title is a pun.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet?
Yes.
Oh, gross.
How disappointed are you now that you know that? You thought I was going to talk to you about Shakespeare, and then
now.
And then I. You know what the thing is with Romeo and Juliet, though?
What?
For a film that exists solely because of a pun. It's not actually bad. It's kind of good.
It's kind of like all of Ninja Sex Party's songs. Like, they start out with a title, and then you write the song around it.
True.
And then it's genius.
Yeah, the thing with Romeo and Juliet is it's like... It's you think it's going to be one of those like animated children's comedies that just goes for like the lowest common denominator, cheapest joke that it possibly can at all moments, but there are some genuinely clever jokes in there. And I was like tipsy when I watched it, right? So I can't really justify this.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it. I laughed a lot. I actually really appreciated the animation, because the way they animate it is it's clearly got a lower budget, but they texture everything to look like garden ornaments, and that's quite simple. So like all the textures are very kind of simple, flat color, because they're supposed to look like that. They're supposed to look like garden ornaments. So it's kind of like, you know how in Toy Story 1 they specifically use toys because that's easier to texture, and they can do movements that are quite rigid, and it doesn't matter because Toy Story 1 was like the first feature-length animated film, so they wanted to do something that if the movements weren't quite fluid enough, it's fine because they're toys. You know, they've got joints, and they've got... So it wasn't a big deal if they... So they worked around the limitations they had in order to make something that would work, right? Romeo and Juliet kind of does the same thing. They have a low animation budget, so they're all garden ornaments. So it's not... If they move a little bit clunkily, it's like, yeah, they're made of porcelain or like ceramic or whatever it is. Like, it's clever. It's clever use of... We don't have a high budget and we don't have a huge amount of time and effort to put into this animation, so we're going to work around that and make the subject material work. It's something that animation does a decent amount of the time. Like if a studio that can't handle fluid facial animations tries to do something about humans, it looks weird. But if they do it about like inanimate objects, it's why there's so many inanimate object movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, like...
Well, that's like how I felt when I watched Leap, which clearly had a really low budget, and I felt like I was watching it through sand.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks weird, you know?
Yeah, because they don't have the budget to get the fluid kind of facial animations that they need to do. But Romeo and Juliet takes it cleverly and goes, we don't need fluid facial animations because they're all painted on, like, gnomes. You know, so it's totally fine that they don't move smoothly and perfectly because they're lawn ornaments, and it doesn't matter that much, and it's clever and it works, and the script is pretty decently funny, and it's pretty charming, and it's harmless, but like there's nothing hugely special about it. But it's the kind of thing where I went into it thinking this is going to be absolute garbage, and within the first 5 minutes I was laughing, and I was like, oh, oh, I don't hate this. I thought I was going to hate. What is this?
So it's like not a revolutionary movie, but it's like perfectly decent to sit through.
It's decent. It's the kind of thing that if I had a child, I would put on for said child and not feel bad about it.
Nice.
Because I have this thing where if I had a kid, I would only put on good children animated films. I would not... None of this my kid ain't seeing the Emoji Movie. That ain't happening. They're only seeing good animated films. But yeah, and I think Romeo and Juliet is... It's not exceptional, but it's fine, and it's fun, and
Good.
It's an interesting...
Like, I don't know. Sometimes the best movies... No, I should start that sentence over. Sometimes not the best movies become our favorites just because they're harmless and we love them. I watched a movie, I think last night, that I haven't watched since I was a kid, and that I loved when I was a kid. I watched over and over again, and I just had a craving to watch it again. This is Rescuers Down Under, which is like a really not that talked about old Disney film. And I looked it up, and it didn't even break even with its budget. Like that movie lost money, and people like the original better, and it's like no one cares about that movie, but it's perfectly good, and I love it. So it's just
fair.
Like some movies don't become famous, and yet they're still good if people want to watch them again.
Classic. Yeah, just to go back to Romeo and Juliet real quick. The voice cast. And we were really confused about how they got this voice cast. And I think the reason is because Elton John executive produced it. So I think Elton John just like shoved money at it. Which
you think he was bored?
Fine. I don't know. I think didn't he adopt a kid at one point? And I like maybe he wanted to make a film for his kid or something. I don't know. But it has James McAvoy as Romeo, Emily Blunt as Juliet. It has Michael Caine playing Lord Redbrick.
Michael Caine.
Matt Lucas is in it. Friggin' Jason Statham plays Tybalt.
Nice.
Stephen Merchant's in it. Patrick Stewart shows up. Yeah, it's a ridiculous film, but it was a lot of fun and surprisingly not bad. And that's all I have to say about that. The next movie I watched was based on a true story tale called Only the Brave, which is about it's about a group of firefighters who fight wildfires in the US, and they want to be certified firefighting team, but they can't quite get it, and they have to earn it, and then they earn it, and then they all die at the end. And it's really sad.
Oh, jeez.
It's actually really... I love based on a true story films, because
Me too.
they're always like just... They're always powerful and emotional because a screenwriter doesn't have to write them. You know, they don't have to come out of someone's imagination. They have pre-written stories, so they can't be messed up somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they could be messed up because I mean,
they can.
Real life doesn't have like the whole like arc that stories have. Like you do have to create an actual story out of it with a beginning and a middle and an end.
Yeah, true. But like the main plot points you have to hit are mostly already in place. So there's no like. It's unlikely that. I don't know. It's like the emotions are already there, and they're powerful, and they're like. Because if it wasn't a good story, it wouldn't be made into a film.
Yeah,
you know
it would
what I mean?
be adapted. Yeah.
So they're always a good story. And this one, it's about this guy who he's like a waster stoner, and he has like one last chance to get back on his feet, joining this firefighting team, and he slowly earns his place. He earns like he works hard, and he gets his life back on track, and he earns everything he has. And in the end, and I feel like I don't need to put a spoiler warning here because it's based on a true story about this actual group of people. That's the other thing about real stories is when everyone dies at the end, it shows you like actual photos of the real people, and you're like,
I know, I love that. I love that in like Hidden Figures and Lion, and
it's beautiful. I like, yeah. But he basically, this guy, he earns friendship, and he befriends all these great people, and they're really happy, and it's great. And then there's this one fire that they can't escape from, and he was sent to be lookout, doesn't die with the rest of them, and he's like he is the only one who survives, and it's just depressing. But it's built up so well that you grow to love these people, and they feel like real people that you're watching, and you you love their friendships and you love how happy they are together, and then just tragedy strikes and you're like, this is the worst thing. Why would you do this to me, movie? Like, it's really sad, and it's beautiful. It's a really good film, and I'm glad that it turned out really good as a film, because if it had been a bad film, it would have been... Yeah, it just came out recently.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Only the Brave. Only the Brave, yeah.
I wonder if it'll be in theaters here. I haven't seen anything about that.
Oh, I watched it like early in the month, so it might have been in cinemas but not be in them anymore. I don't know, but it's good. It's worth watching. I didn't know it was a thing. I was like on my cinemas listings, and I was just like, oh, I'll go and see that. And then I went to see it, and I enjoyed it. I hadn't seen any trailers, and I hadn't seen any marketing. It just existed.
Nice.
Which is always weird. It's always weird on a movie I just don't know anything about, and I just go and see it, and I'm like, that was really good. Or I'm like, that was garbage. But that one, really good. It worked out. It worked out in the end, and I was happy about it. The next movie, marketing was everywhere for this. I don't know if it was in the US, but Murder on the Orient Express, everywhere.
I was wondering if you were going to see that.
I really enjoyed that film. It was solid. It had...
Nice.
Like, it had pros and cons. I think the mystery wasn't that interesting. I wasn't like on the edge of my seat. I need to know who killed this person the whole time, because... Was
it more about the characters themselves than the mystery they were solving?
My enjoyment mostly came from Poirot, the detective, because they established so much depth and just really good character for him. Like, because he's this... He basically comes across as autistic, which is beautiful, and he's just...
Oh, neat.
Everything in the world has to be perfect, and he notices if something is off, kind of thing. Like, and that's how he detects...
Seems to be a theme with, like, detective type
yeah.
people in media. And that makes sense. Like, that's not just like a trope. Like, people who have, like, savant syndrome or, like, something, different in their brain can look at things differently than, like, the majority of people and see, like, what's wrong or what's...
Yeah.
Or they never it in their own way.
Yeah, they never explicitly say, like, he has something. That's just... They develop really well in the opening scene, like, if something is wrong with the world, he notices it, because everything has its place and everything has to be perfect. And as a result, he's really rude to everyone. He's just he's a rude man, and it's beautiful. Like, they do such a good job of, like, him just being rude, and it's great. And I can't think of any specific examples, but it made me laugh so many times. Like, he's not that arrogant, like, because Sherlock, the TV series, is like this horrendously arrogant, and he's usually quite arrogant in other adaptations. Poirot, he's not necessarily arrogant, he's just old and tired. Like, he spends the whole movie like, I just wanted to go on holiday. Why have I got to do that? I guess I'll do this. Mystery. And it's good, and they do such a good job of establishing his character that at the end, while I didn't find the mystery that interesting, the impact that the resolution of the mystery has on him personally is incredibly good, in my opinion. Like, it resolves, and it's like, oh, because it means something to him as a character, not because he's involved in it, but because of like the motives and the reasons. I don't want to spoil it, because I mean, maybe you've read the book.
I might go see that. I actually haven't read the book, and but I know that Shay really likes Agatha Christie. Yeah. And so I've been thinking about going to see that and dragging him along.
Go for it. It's good. I recommend it. It's not perfect, but it's a good film. Like, it was an entertaining ride that I had fun with. Like, like, early on there was a point early on where I thought it was going to go downhill, right? Because they do the he stood in poo joke, right?
Sure.
But then they subvert it so perfectly, because he stands in it and someone's like, oh no, looks at him like, oh no, you stood in poo, and he just looks at them and goes, that is not the problem. And then he puts his other foot in it and just goes, there, now it's balanced. And it not only is it a good subversion of that joke, like that cliche joke, but it's also a good way of establishing his character. The idea that this man is so
him rather than
like it establishes that, like, he's so perfectionist and he's so, like, obsessive compulsive about things that if he's got poo on one shoe, he has to have it on the other one, because then it's balanced. Like, it's not a problem because it's poo. It's a problem because it's only on one foot,
uneven.
and that's annoying. And I thought that was like, for a second I was like, oh, they're gonna do this cheap joke, okay. And then I was like, oh, and it picks up, and I'm like, okay,
Nice.
Now I'm in. I'm back again. I'm happy. I'm good.
That kind of character stuff comes across best on screen.
Yeah.
Because I don't love murder mystery novels in the first place,
Yeah.
but I love shows like Monk
Yeah.
and Psych. And those might be the only ones. But I love detective shows like that where the like main person is like in Psych, he's like really, really goofy and makes all these jokes and everyone gets irritated with him, but then he solves murders.
Yeah.
And with Monk, he's like obsessive compulsive and he's like this horrible broken man who like can't get his life together because he's afraid of every single germ on the planet, and yet he still solves murders. Like, and yet, you know, if he stepped in poop one day, he would like try and throw himself in the incinerator, and everyone would have to stop him. And then somehow on the way there, he would be like, "I just solved the case." And it's Monk is so funny. Oh man, it's one of my favorite shows.
Classic.
But I love that stuff on screen, and yet
I think
for
you
some
like
reason
that
kind of character stuff, I don't know if it gets across well on page as it does on screen. That's one thing that
I think there's a visual
TV
element
and
to
movies
like having a
do really
face, you know, having a face
having
and
characters
tone.
be all- because a lot of their compulsive things are in their face and in their tics.
And tone of voice and body language and that kind of thing. It's all in the delivery.
Yeah.
So just reading it is kind of flat, I would say.
Yeah.
The one last thing I wanted to say about Murder on the Orient Express is it has a really good use of cinematography, because like this setting is, because it's on a train, it's like you could just shoot it flat and like, you know, do whatever
and then make the camera jiggle.
Yeah, there are so many shots where they'll do like a really long take of someone walking down the entire train, or they have a few shots where it's taken from top down. So like it's like to show that it's really cramped in the like little box rooms that they have.
Beautiful.
And it's gorgeous. It looks really good, and it's like credit to Kenneth Branagh, who not only stars in it as Poirot,
Kenneth Branagh, wasn't it?
but also directs it. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I thought it was him. Oh my gosh, he's done like best Shakespeare movies.
I thought that was right.
Branagh.
He also did the first Thor movie, so I'm feeling like you should probably go and see Murder on the Orient Express.
Probably.
I feel like you probably like it. It has
those
an
little touches, like a lot of directors just don't put enough love into their movies. You know, like those long hallway shots, or those shots, like you said, to make the place feel more cramped. Like you have to think about that stuff to really like the movie has a lot of care put into it, and like that kind of stuff isn't necessary, but at the same time it is.
Yeah, it's like it adds so much to the film. Also, it helps that this film has a like all-star stellar cast that's just like fantastic, because it's got like Daisy Ridley in it. It's got Willem Dafoe, my boy. Love Willem, he's great. Always happy to see his weird wrinkled goblin face in anything, because he's great. I can't remember everyone else, but it's a good cast. It's a really good cast for that film, and yeah, it's excellent. I
like
had
Judi
a
Dench
great time.
and Johnny Depp.
Old Johnny Depp's in it, but
they're just bored and they'll do anything.
Yeah, Johnny Depp agreed to do those trash Harry Potter prequels, so he's clearly got nothing better to do with his life. Oh, savage. The next film that I feel like is going to fill the rest. I'm just going to say.
Did you watch all these last night? Because you just told me you only saw 4 films, and you've talked about like 100.
I think I miscounted. Also, this is the 5th one. The last film that I watched, and I haven't spoiled any of the other films, but I'm gonna spoil this one. So, spoiler warning for Justice League right now, because I'm gonna rant about it. Do you, QJ, mind if I spoil this train wreck of a movie? Okay,
this one's the train wreck and not Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh my god, it's a good theming the episode. So, I was about to call it Batman vs Superman. Suicide, no. Justice League. Oh my god, I genuinely made that mistake twice. Justice League starts off, right? You know how the DC expanded universe seems to think that Superman was a beacon of hope? They seem to think they have this stupid idea that they set that up, but they didn't set that up. You know, so Justice League starts with literally everyone being like, I can't believe Superman's dead. Oh no, he was such a beacon of hope. Oh no, Superman's dead. But like, no one liked Superman. This version of Superman, everyone hated him. Everyone hated him.
Yeah.
But why? Why is it once he died, everyone was like, yeah, he was a beacon of hope. No, he wasn't. Everyone hated him. And so Justice League...
He was an alien.
Justice League has the nerve to do that again and start off being like, oh yeah, Superman was a beacon. Everyone loved Superman. He was a beacon of hope. He was the greatest man ever. He wasn't, though. You never showed us that on screen, DC. You showed us...
And does it even give, like... Does it even give the impression that it's like the people are being fickle and changing their mind once the guy's really. Dead?
They're implying that, like, the version of Superman that died was, like, old-timey, like, happy-go-lucky, fun, saves everyone and is a good guy Superman, which he wasn't.
Like in the comic books in the 60s.
So that's already a bad start, right?
It sounds like they're just trying to make a whole new story with every movie they make.
Yeah, but also be the same story, you know? It's stupid. It's really stupid. There's no consistency, and it's real dumb. Like, it goes to the point so far that Batman this introduction scene with Batman, he comes across a criminal. He uses the criminal to, like, lure out a parademon, because parademons feed on fear. It's actually kind of well done. There's the theme with this film, right? This film isn't bad. This film is okay. It's got a lot of actually really, 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 really good things, but they're sandwiched between garbage. So it's like, I can't like it. You know,
it's like a BLT sandwich between, like, shoes.
Yeah, and it's because so it's
the worst thing I can think of.
It goes to the point where, like, Batman lures out a parademon with this criminal and then just, like, leaves this criminal on the roof, just, like, doesn't arrest him. And I'm like, that's against Batman's MO, first of all. But, like, the criminal then delivers exposition. So, like, Batman's standing there, like, moping, like, oh no, the parademons are here. And the criminal just goes, like, it's because Superman's dead, right? They're coming over, they're invading because Superman's dead. And I'm like, first of all, why is this random criminal character giving me exposition right now? This is dumb. I hate this. This is what is this scene? But that's just one scene that I've broken down right there. That is bad. Meanwhile, everything with Barry Allen, the Flash, is fantastic. He is an excellent character, excellently done, brilliantly done, fantastic, beautiful. Loved him. Everything about him was great. He was just like fun. He was so fun. He was beautiful. He was amazing. There's one of the things, like I mentioned earlier, they do some really, 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 really good things in this film. One of the best things is when they first fight the parademons and Steppenwolf. The Flash is standing there, like, and there's a line in the trailer where he's like, I get that you guys are ready to do battle, but I've never done battle before. I've just kind of pushed people and run away. And it's done really well to imply that this character, he's never done any superhero before. He is completely new to everything, and he's scared. And Batman turns to him and he says, and there are hostages there, and Batman just says, save one person, and then you'll know. And the Flash kind of just looks at him, like, confused, and then Batman, like, leaves. And it's really well done, because they don't need to be like, save one person, and if you're a hero, you'll save more, but if you don't want to, you can go home. Just try. Because that's what they're saying. But it's really well conveyed, and it's really well done, because then the Flash does save one hostage, puts them onto the side, and then just stands there for a second like, I'm gonna go save more. And it's like this really good hero moment that proves him as a heroic character, and it's friggin' excellent. It's fantastic. But, like, 5 minutes later, Steppenwolf is being a big old CGI grey monster that just teleports in and out when the plot demands him to be there. Oh, he's just this trash villain that means nothing. And
I thought that was a band.
Maybe that is that does sound familiar, not gonna lie.
No, that's definitely a band.
Maybe they took, like, it from the
mythology.
comic.
Did they take the...
He's from DC Comics, yeah. Maybe they stole him. Maybe. But, yeah, Steppenwolf is this. He has no motivations apart from, I want to destroy the Earth because I tried before and they stopped me, so now I want to destroy the Earth again. and it's really boring, and there's nothing interesting about him, and there's no development done to him. He's just lame, and he just teleports in and out whenever the plot demands him to be there. Like, he teleports in, they fight him for a bit, he gets what he wants, and then he teleports out. He just leaves. It's just like the laziest villain writing you could possibly do. Just like, he just has this ability to just leave when he feels like leaving. And it's garbage. Wonder Woman is completely set back 1,000 years of progression. Like, you know how in Wonder Woman it was very empowering and she felt like a genuinely interesting character who had depth?
Yeah.
In this film, they redesigned the Amazon costumes to be just more revealing and sexy metal tunics. They make the Amazons just pathetic. They just get their asses. They basically use the Amazons as, hey, Steppenwolf kicks these guys' asses just to show that he's strong. And it's like, okay, thanks for devaluing the epic warrior women that you showed us before by making them just look pathetic. Wonder Woman herself, pretty much every single Justice League, other like male Justice League member makes an awkward comment about wanting to have sex with her in some way or another. There's a running gag that like Alfred wants Batman to start dating her. There's a moment where the Flash like awkwardly lands on her in a sex position and then looks at her like, oh, it's like the worst part of the film that he is in. It's the only part where I was like, oh, they didn't make the Flash lovable and charming. God damn. That like, there's a point where Batman lectures her because, oh, you didn't do any hero work because you were so sad about Steve Trevor. How dare you fall in love with a man and then not be a hero anymore? Like, and it's just like, okay, shut up, Batman. It's just embarrassing. It's really embarrassing.
Get over your dead parents, Batman. That's like really.
Yeah.
That's just really lazy.
Yeah, it's just like, oh,
lazy writing.
We set back the writing about 100, but then it's lazy writing on one side, and then The Flash is incredibly well written. And my theory is, because I don't know if you heard this whole story about the Justice League development. Basically, Zack Snyder was directing it, and then he had personal family tragedy that makes me not want to like insult his work because it genuinely. But then it's also like it's bad work, so I don't feel bad. But something genuinely really horrible happened, like his daughter killed herself, and it's like, I can't make jokes about that. That is legitimately sad. I feel, I hope he's doing all right. Like, I hate his work, but like, I hope he's doing fine. He's still a human being. But he left the project, and Joss Whedon took over, and Joss Whedon did a bunch of rewrites. And I think that all of the fun, all of the positive stuff, all of the stuff that I liked in this film, and the reason this film is good, like, I mean, I'm not saying good. The reason this film has good things, I think that's all Joss Whedon. I can't prove it, but I personally think that everything that I liked in this film was Joss Whedon. Like, because there's rumors that he rewrote like a whole load of it, and it goes to the point where this isn't. I mean, I've said spoiler warning, so it's fine. They bring back Superman, which isn't really a spoiler because they kind of told us that they were gonna do that with all of the promotional material. But they bring back Superman, and the Superman that comes back is happy, cheerful hero Superman, and he's really well done. Like, from Man of Steel, right?
Classic Superman.
I know. From Man of Steel, I have hated that version of Superman, but the version we see in Justice League, I liked. I thought he was one of the best parts of the film because he comes back and he's a bit mad and pissy at first because like he's like, why'd you bring me back to life? I was okay being dead. And there's a really good moment that is hilarious, and I don't think they intended it to be hilarious, where he's like choking Batman out and he just looks at him and just goes, so tell me, do you bleed? And then like throws him into a car and leaves. And it's like this beautiful callback to the do you bleed moment in BVS, which it's funny because it's so stupid, and I don't know if they intended for that to be the case. But yeah, like he goes and cools off for a bit, and then he's like, okay, I guess I'll be a hero. And he rocks up at this like final battle, and they're like, oh, we need you to hold off Steppenwolf for a bit while Cyborg does this thing that he can do that is meaningless, and it's just him standing there, and it's not actually a hero moment at all. And Superman just looks at them and is like, I'll help. Wait a second, there are civilians nearby. I'm gonna go save them. And he just leaves. Like, they yell after him like, no, the Flash is doing that, but he's just like, no, I'm gonna go save some civilians. And there's this really cute moment where like the Flash is running and Superman like flies up next to him, and the Flash looks at him like, oh no, you can go as fast as me, what's this about? And And Superman's like, right, you get the civilians on the left, I'll get the ones on the right. And the Flash is like, it's on. Like, there's this like little moment of competition between the two of them. And Flash runs off, and you see him like, basically there's this meaningless family that we've been seeing the entire film, and they keep cutting to scenes of this family in Russia near where Steppenwolf's doing the thing, whatever. They're meaningless, but the only payoff of cutting to them all the time was that Flash, they're like driving out of the city at this point, and Flash like pushes their car, but like as he's doing it, he stops, he gets them out of the city, he's like, yeah, I saved this family, and then he looks up at the sky and Superman is just flying past carrying an entire building like, in one hand. And it's like, this is what we needed. It's great, it's funny, it shows Superman as a hero, and he can do that in the comics. He does that all the time in the comics. He just carries an entire building, and the Flash looks at him like, oh, I guess I lost. I got this family out though, and that's what matters. Like, and it's this really cute moment that's like really fun, and it means something. And that version of Superman, I really like. I really like what they did with Superman in that scene. I thought it was excellent. It made me really happy, and like, the whole film's this really dark, drab, like, everything's color graded, all the costumes are boring and flat and grey. But when Superman shows up, they've made his costume more colourful. So
all blue and red again?
Yeah, they popped the reds. Instead of, like, saturating them, they popped them out, or desaturating them. I forget, it's desaturating colours. You think I should know that, because I do colour grade myself, but, like, you know, whatever. Yeah, instead of desaturating all of the colours on his costume, they've popped them. And it looks great, because when Superman does show up, it's like, oh my god, Superman's here. He's like this he actually is a beacon of hope now, because he's colourful.
Superman,
and he's
not the Man of Steel.
Yeah, and it works. And it's actual payoff, and they did something right. And but I could go into like huge depth of why this film is an absolute mess, and why the plot doesn't work, and it's full of plot holes. Messy. And it's a garbage mess, right? But there's stuff in there that made me really happy, and that's what makes me sad about it, is that
this reminds me so much of like how I feel about the Hobbit trilogy. Like,
true.
Just a big unnecessary mess with a lot of garbage. But whenever I watch clips of my favorite scenes, I'm like, oh, wait, why didn't I like this movie? I love this part. It's like, oh.
True.
So much good hidden in a bag of bad.
Yeah, but the other thing is, it's way better than, excluding Wonder Woman, anything they've done before. It's way better than Man of Steel. It's like infinitely better than BVS, and it's infinitely better than Suicide Squad. But no one's going to see it, because everyone's like, I've been burned before. You know, everyone's sitting there going, I saw BVS, I saw Man of Steel, I don't want to see more of this. So no one is going to see it. It's like, it has the highest budget of like any superhero movie of all time, but it's underperforming like everything else because they haven't sold it to anyone. You know, they're sitting there like, everyone goes to Justice League, but everyone's going, nah, pass. Why would I go and see that? Because it's clearly going to be a waste of my time again. And it's quite disappointing, because it's better. It's an improvement. And
I'm surprised at this point that people are giving up. Like, usually people don't give up even when they know they're going to be disappointed.
I mean, you haven't seen Batman vs Superman, so you don't know how bad it got.
Oh wait, so what did they do to my Aquaman?
Oh, Aquaman is garbage. So what they did to Aquaman is,
I don't know what I was expecting.
He's really disappointing. He has nothing to do in the story, which I think is because he got cut a bunch. Maybe his film will be better, but character-wise, personality-wise, he's just like this surfer dude bro, and he's like very American.
That's what I heard.
And it doesn't work, because he's supposed to be this like god-level Atlantean who's like super strong. But
he's king of the ocean.
But you're sitting there like, this is just some dude. He's just a bro. Like, what? What is the significance of why do I care? The Flash, you care because they've built his character so he means something, and you're like, oh, this is a budding hero. You know, it's like how in Civil War Spider-Man shows up and he's like, yeah, Tony Stark, but it's the Flash being like, yeah, I want to help. Let me help. Kind of like how Spider-Man was in Civil War, and it totally works in the same way because it's a character, it's a person. You believe that the Flash is a human being, and yeah, I get it, Aquaman's not a human being, but he is half human, whatever. But like, he doesn't feel like a character, he doesn't feel like a personality, he just feels like some dude who walked onto set wearing a costume.
You better give him like an amazing origin story in his film. Like his whole background, his whole thing with his wife, like, yeah, they're either gonna like screw that up or it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
Okay.
Like I thought he was gonna be good. My main hopes for that movie were at least the Flash and Aquaman will be good. What I didn't expect to be coming out of it saying was the Flash and Superman were good, because that never crossed my mind. It never crossed my mind that I would like Superman in a DC EU movie. I didn't think it would happen, but I do, and I want more of him. So if they can do that, that would be cool. But yeah, it's like it has potential, and if they keep going on this
Makes
track,
me want to watch the original Superman again. Because that movie was so corny, but so delightful.
Yeah. But yeah, like if they keep on this track and they keep cheering it up a little bit, then I think DC could potentially bring things back.
Learn its lesson.
Yeah, they just have to learn their lesson that being cheerful doesn't make you like Marvel. You don't have to be mopey and miserable just because Marvel are happy and fun. You can also do that.
Yeah.
I don't see why they have to do this. We're not Marvel. We don't do Marvel. And I'm hoping that Joss Whedon coming in kicked them up the arse a little bit.
Well, it's like Marvel is Nintendo and DC is Halo. But
Halo is good though.
We're I don't know. We're not kitty baby movies. We don't want to be colorful. Like,
yeah, but the difference is that Halo is good. Like,
well, I couldn't think of.
There is no analogy there.
Like,
there is no like equivalent. There is no equivalent of something that should be good but is bad because it doesn't want to be Nintendo. Like, I can't think of anything with video gaming.
Call of Duty.
But Call of Duty is theoretically still well designed. They just keep retreading the same thing. I don't want to talk about video games. Actually, I do. Super Mario Odyssey is, honest to God, one of the greatest video games ever made of all time. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. Everyone should play it. Like, if you haven't played Super Mario, I would not recommend buying a Switch if Super Mario Odyssey was not a game that you could play on the Switch. Because
you finally playing a Switch game.
Like, I own a Switch. I own 2 games on my Switch, and I think that my Switch was worth the money because I bought Super Mario Odyssey. I'm not even joking. Like, the only other good game on that console is Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild is on the Wii U, so you don't need to buy a Switch for that. But buy a Switch because then you can play Mario Odyssey. It's God's gift to video games.
I wish I had time to start investing in video games right now. I never want to play games unless I have hours to do it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's hard.
Also,
my life is so hard. I don't have time to play video games. I live in a place.
Also, while we're here, I've also been playing Heroes of the Storm, but that's not the important part because I have 2 monitors. While I play Heroes of the Storm, I've been watching Seinfeld in the background. So,
yay, Seinfeld!
So like I'm sitting there like, because it's the kind of game where you don't really have to focus on it. You can just kind of like do it while focus. Like you can half focus, and Seinfeld's a good show to like just have there because you don't really need to watch Seinfeld. You just need to hear Seinfeld. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. There's a lot of good physical comedy in Seinfeld.
There is.
Everything Kramer does.
There is. But I know when it's coming, so I can glance, like, I don't have to be 100% fixed visually on it. I can just be glancing across, and I'm like, sure, oh, Kramer's in the scene. I'll be watching more, kind of thing.
There is this, one of my favorite things that, like, this isn't going to come across without video, but, did you, like, see an episode where George buys Elaine a big salad?
No, I'm on, like, season 4. Don't spoil. No spoilers. No Seinfeld spoilers here. No Seinfeld. I refuse.
He does this dumb dance where he's like, "You had to have the big salad," and he like waves his arms across his body.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that.
And I think that that Jason Alexander improvised that because it's just so stupid. It's like one of my favorite scenes.
I genuinely think George Costanza is like one of the best characters in anything ever. Like
he's based off of what's his name who created Seinfeld?
Larry David?
Larry David. Yeah, he put a lot of himself into George.
Yeah.
So every time someone's like, "Oh, George is the stupid one, he's the dumb one, he's the loser, blah blah blah," he's like, "Hey!" Larry David gets really mad.
Classic. I'm just really quickly, I have one more movie that I would like to talk about. I watched Jumanji yesterday. because they're making another Jumanji movie with Mr. Rock that I'm really excited for. Everyone's like, oh, there's no way that can be good, but like it looks really good. So I don't know what everyone's talking about.
If you say so.
No, oh my god. Okay, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle looks great because it's not just the same thing again. It's because they've taken it in a different direction.
And I wouldn't want it to be the same thing again because that would be really cheap. But even if this is the trailer for this, even if it's a movie on its own, like it didn't look interesting at all.
Oh, but it does. Okay, the comedy potential of the body swap thing, like the body swap concept, but then they're also in a wacky situation. That's hilarious to me. Like Jack Black playing a teenage Instagram model who is in the body of Jack Black is a funny gag in itself. I refuse to accept anything but that. I refuse. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle could be garbage, but I am excited for it, and I really hope it's good because the trailers look good, and I refuse this naysaying
I feel
drivel.
like there's a way that they could make it well, but like I don't know. It's really going to depend on who's on the project.
It looks great.
I feel like the whole body swap thing is really old. I don't know.
I feel like that combined with the being put, because normally it's like there's a body swap and they're in normal life and they have to deal with their real lives, but like a body swap combined with and they're also in a video game jungle, I think that's funny.
Like it just sounds like the best jokes that they made were put into the trailer.
Yes, that is potentially the case. I will give you that.
So I guess we'll see when it comes to the sequel. But how did you like Robin Williams?
I liked it. I thought it was fine. I haven't got a huge amount of things to say. I just thought it was a fun movie. It's weird because it's this weird genre mesh where you think it's going to be like a fun, happy family comedy, but then it's also like this weird tragedy and also kind of a horror movie sometimes. And it's like,
yeah, it really is its own thing.
It's like,
I think that's why it stood the test of time for so long.
Yeah. Because there are moments where you're just like, well, this is just depressing, or this is just kind of scary. Like, because I remember as a kid, it scared me. I have seen Jumanji before, but I was like 6, because it came out in the same year I was born. So like, you know,
they really didn't try to follow any kind of formula.
No,
they were just like, here's the situation, here's Robin Williams, so it's automatically going to be great. And I don't know, it's like they built it around him.
Yeah,
and they just gave him a ton of really funny stuff to do and really sad stuff to do, and he's just a master of it all.
Yeah, he's wonderful. I'm a fan of Robin Williams. I haven't watched that much Robin Williams stuff though, so I might have to give me some recommendations. Or next time you do a bingo chart, put Robin Williams on there, because then I'll have to find one.
You got Mrs. Doubtfire, you got Dead Poets Society, you got Aladdin.
I mean, Aladdin, one of the greatest films of all time. Let's be real with ourselves. But yeah, that.
Hook.
That's pretty much it, I think. Because I don't have a huge amount to say on Jumanji. One thing I do want to. I love 1990s CGI is like, because it's this weird thing where like 1990s CGI is, we all know it's not good. Mid 2000s CGI is like this mid range of like it almost looks right, but it still looks wrong. Whereas 90s CGI is just like it 100% looks wrong. You know what I mean? Like, those monkeys are like, yeah, this looks... Because, I don't know, it's weird, because, like, when something looks perfect, it's like, this is fine. When something looks so bad that you're just like, yeah, that's 90s CGI, it's fine. But when it's in the middle, like the 2000s era CGI, where it's like, it almost looks right, but there's something wrong about it, that's the worst CGI, I think. When it just doesn't quite look right. You know?
You want something to look way more wrong than to look like just barely off center. Like,
I'd rather it looked like those monkeys in Jumanji where you're just like, these are CGI monkeys, but it was 1995, so that's fine. Than like how General Tarkin looks in Star Wars story, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, where his face just looks weird. Or like how, okay, I don't know if you've heard about this, in Justice League, because of scheduling conflicts, Henry Cavill had a mustache for Mission Impossible, but he wasn't allowed to shave the mustache, so they digitally removed it. So I personally didn't notice it in a lot of scenes because I wasn't focusing that. Like I was looking for it, but I wasn't like hyper focused on it, so I didn't really notice it. but a lot of people are saying that his upper lip just looks weird. I personally didn't notice it that much, so I didn't think it was a huge issue. But like, yeah, I'd rather think like CGI that just looks bad than CGI that looks almost right. I just burped. Almost right, but like, just something is off with it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why Jumanji, it just comes across as charming to me when there's just like these monkeys that I'm like, they look real bad. You know, I just think it's funny.
Yeah. But it's okay because they're in a board game, so you could just be like, oh, the person who designed the board game drew the monkeys badly.
That is true. These are board game monkeys. It's fine that they look bad. But yeah, that's all I got to say this month. That's been an episode with some tangents and some rambling. I feel like there's a lot I could say about Justice League, but I've forgotten it. Did you? What movie did you watch?
Yeah, I watched Loving Vincent.
Oh, I wanted to see that, but it didn't come to cinemas near me, so.
No?
No, or it's not out here yet. No? I don't know. One of those.
Oh, well,
I've heard
I'll
about
just say it's absolutely lovely.
Yeah.
In so many different ways. It's not quite a biopic, but it's about, because it takes place after like a year after Vincent dies.
Yeah.
And it's all about this guy who, like, his dad's like, deliver this letter to Vincent's brother.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to. I don't care about him. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to have some character development and I'm going to become softer later. And then he tries to do that, finds out that Vincent's brother is dead. And he's like, I don't know who to give this letter to. And then he encounters all these people who knew Vincent.
Yeah.
And all these different stories about when he was alive and how they affected him.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
who hated him and who loved him and like how people saw him and how some people were like, he was insane. And other people were like, no, he wasn't that bad. Like, he was a really good painter and he was a nice guy. And then this main character who's trying to deliver the letter, like, starts really caring about his death.
Yeah.
And there's a conspiracy about like, no, he didn't actually kill himself. Someone else killed him. And it ends in a very like ambiguous way. Where everything's kind of up in the air about the mystery. And it's like, in the end, all that matters is that he wanted to like really touch people with his art.
Yeah.
And like it ended up not mattering too much that no one cared about his art until after he died, because all that mattered was how he felt when he was making it.
Yeah.
And so I walked out of that theater going, okay, there were 5 people in that theater. And they were all senior citizens out for their senior citizen day because they got released from their senior prison. And this theater that I was in holds like 30 people. They put it in the smallest little venue. And I'm like, no one's buying tickets to this. This wasn't marketed. Like, no one knows this movie exists. And I'm really sad. Because they acted out this whole movie, like with real actors, and then they oil painted over everything. Yeah. Which took 100 artists, probably a billion hours. And it was so beautiful. And I could I could tell who the actors were. Like Saoirse Ronan was in it, who I love. She was in Brooklyn. Yeah. And they did a fantastic job. Toll Patch, don't play with your toy.
Cat problems.
Jingle ball. So it looks beautiful and it was about like my favorite artist. Yeah. And I'm like, it makes me really sad that no one's gonna pay attention to this movie. And it became like a strange metaphor for what the movie was about. So I'm like, no one cared about Vincent's art.
No one cares about his movie.
It was all about the joy of making his art. And no one's gonna watch this movie, but this movie made me happy. And it touched me like the way Vincent wanted his art to touch people. Yeah. So, like, wow, this all just came together. And yeah, I want to see it, but if it doesn't come to cinemas, I'll have to watch it when it comes out on DVD or whatever, which is a shame because I like to support it. But yeah, that's sad. There's a really good episode of Doctor Who about Vince Van Gogh, actually. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's one of the best episodes in that season, but. You know, that's the thing. Yeah, I want to see that movie. I just haven't got the ability to see it because either it's not out in this country yet or whatever. Mm-hmm. But
the guy who is in the IT crowd is in it, the Irish guy.
Ah, okay. I can't remember his name.
He's in just for a little bit. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I would definitely keep an eye out for that because, you know, cool. It looks good,
it's beautiful.
It's good to hear that it looks good. Yeah, next month I'm going to have seen couple of movies. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. I would recommend everyone go see that because it looks great. And I'm also going to go and see The Disaster Artist, which I would 100% recommend watching that because
Disaster Artist.
It's the film about the making of The Room, but
no one cares.
You should care because first of all, it looks hilarious.
I tell you, I saw a license plate that said "Oh hi, Mark."
That's funny. But yeah, no, okay. It looks brilliant. It looks fantastic. It looks just really funny. It looks like a great comedy in itself. Like, and apparently you don't need to have like seen The Room to really enjoy it, but you enjoy it more if you have. So I would recommend going to see it because it looks great.
Okay.
And I personally am hyped for it. I'm trying to think what else I'm going to see. There's other stuff. There's stuff coming out this month, but I forgot what it is. Oh yeah, Star Wars. Hype. Kuche, are you not hyped for... Oh wait, no, have you seen The Force Awakens yet?
I did.
Oh, in that case, get hyped for the new one. You can go and see it in cinemas.
Okay.
Exciting.
I mean...
Do you just not care?
I don't know if I do. I mean, I'm not a Star Wars nerd.
Nor am I.
I mean, I think the movies are pretty good.
Yeah.
And maybe... I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't have anybody to watch them with. Aww. And I know if I go in there and watch it, I'm going to be like, I don't totally know what's going on. And I feel like everyone is either like a huge Star Wars nerd that loves it or one that hates the new ones. And they're just like, everything is new and I hate everything. And,
yeah, I'm really excited for the new one because...
Like, I don't remember a lot of the stuff that even happened in The Force Awakens because I watch action movies and then I immediately forget everything that happened.
True. I'm really excited personally. I think it's gonna be great. I am the hype. But yeah, that's...
I wish I liked Star Wars more than I do. I mean, I guess I wish I had started watching them when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That I could have watched them more.
Because
I don't have enough time in my adulthood to watch them a dozen times so that I get it as well. And I also don't want to watch the Return
George
of the
Lucas
Jedi anymore because
George Lucas ruined it. Yeah.
Because. So, but I have to in order to like get the whole story, and anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. It's just it's hard for me to absorb it as well.
Yeah, it's because you're a dum-dum and you don't understand science fiction.
No.
I'm not a dum-dum.
I like sci-fi. I just don't like action as much. Oh, except sci-fi and action are the same thing, according to one of my coworkers.
What? But have they not...
Sci-fi and action, they're the same thing.
Tell them to watch Passengers, because... Or, I don't know, 2001 A Space Odyssey, or... I don't know.
Her is the best, like, sci-fi non-action thing that exists.
2001 A Space Odyssey, though. Let's be real with ourselves. I don't know about her, because I haven't seen it, but...
You should watch her. I watched it again, when I was on vacation, and I just swear I love it more every time I see it, and it made me like cry this time.
Nice. Anyway, we're at time.
Out of time.
Because we're like way over. No one's gonna listen to this. I mean, no one listens to this anyway, so I don't think it matters hugely. But
here we are.
But here we are.
I think you're our number one fan because you have to listen to it when you're editing it.
It's true. I think I am the only person who listens to this. If anyone is listening, just pop us a comment to say that you're our one listener, and we'll appreciate that.
Yay! We want the comments. We need validation.
Actually, if there is anyone out there listening, suggest a movie. I'll watch it. Like, I used to get those. Remember when I used to get those? People used to suggest movies to me.
Yeah, our followers didn't follow us to our new channel.
I know.
Said they would.
Should we go back? New Year's, we'll go back.
Yeah. We'll reply to all their old comments and be like,
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna bounce. And
okay, you go take a shower.
Yeah, I will talk to you next. Are we doing a QJ's Adventures this month?
We're doing a QJ's Adventure, probably next week.
Hype. I'm excited.
Hype.
Anyway, goodbye, people. Have fun with whatever.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.